Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.
Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of the National Science Magazine Radioscope. Science begins with observing nature and continuously develops by the addition of fresh scientific research to an enormous structure already built by previous scientists. Science and technology play a vital role in both national and global development. The relationship between science and technology and development is the subject of extensive research. It reveals economic performance in terms of invention, innovation, technology transfer, learning, diversification, and even resurgence. This interaction either creates new economic values or revitalizes ones that already exist. Thanks to the skillful involvement of research institutes, enterprises, and public and private entities. In today's edition of Radioscope, we will cover a wide range of topics, including information about the ISRO's latest launch of the PSLV C-58 XPOPSAT mission, World Braille Day, and Anti-Leprosy Day. In addition to this, we also have regular columns where you'll get updates on scientific research and find out which brilliant scientists were born in January. So let's start with the news highlights in the fields of national and international science and technology.
I am Alroy Fernandez with the Science News. The Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, has successfully placed Aditya L1 into halo orbit. Aditya L1 is ISRO's first dedicated solar mission, which entered the halo orbit around the Lagrange point L1 on January 6, 127 days after its launch on September 2, 2023. This point is approximately 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, allowing the spacecraft to view the Sun continuously. This marks a significant milestone for the Space Research Organisation. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Sciences have found alarming trends in bird populations within tropical montane forests. A decade-long study in the eastern Himalayas focused on the understory bird community, particularly sensitive to the environmental changes. The findings published in Global Ecology and Conservation reveal how climate change and forest logging reshape these communities. Protecting primary forests is crucial in combating the effects of climate change on wildlife, as the study warns of encountering degraded forests during migration that could lead to local extinctions. 9th edition of the India International Science Festival IISF 2023 was held at Faridabad, Haryana from January 17th to the 20th, 2024. India's mega science fair was held at the campus of Translational Health Science and Technology Institute THSTI and Regional Center for Biotechnology of Department of Biotechnology in Faridabad. The theme for this edition was Science and Technology, Public Outreach in Amrit Kal. IISF 2023 aimed to provide a platform for inspiring public at large and individuals with diverse levels of interests like students, educators, scientists, researchers, industry professionals, entrepreneurs, and the science communicators. IISF 2023 had a total of 17 themes to showcase significant scientific achievements, offering diverse benefits to participants and the general public. Lastly, Mani Bhaumik, an Indian-born American physicist, philanthropist, donated $1 million to establish the prestigious IEEE Jagdish Chandra Bose Medal in Wireless Communications. The medal and honorarium will be awarded to promising young scientists starting in 2025. The medal aims to recognize the work of Shri Jagdish Chandra Bose, the Indian scientist whose invention of the detector for wireless telegraphy was overlooked for years. Listeners, those were the science news headlines.
Now, let's take a moment to remember the remarkable scientists born in January. This month was blessed with an extraordinary group of scientists. Here are a few famous scientists who celebrate their birthday this month. Satyendra Nath Bose, an Indian mathematician and physicist who collaborated with Albert Einstein to develop a theory of statistical quantum physics. He was born on the 1st of January 1894. Isaac Newton, an English mathematician, physicist, and astronomer, widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time. He was born on the 4th of January 1643. Stephen Hawking, an English theoretical physicist and cosmologist who first revealed black holes and baby universes. He was born on the 8th of Jan 1942. Har Gobind Khorana, an Indian-born American biochemist and Nobel Prize winner, was born on the 9th of January 1922. James Clerk Maxwell, a Scottish physicist and mathematician who developed a set of equations that describe the behavior of electricity, magnetism, and light, was born on the 13th of January 1831. Galileo Galilei, an Italian astronomer, physicist, and mathematician, considered one of the fathers of modern science, was born on the 15th of January 1564. We now move on to the field of space, where India's first dedicated polarimetry mission, PSLV C-58 Expo mission, was successfully launched on January 1st, 2024. The launch has put India in an elite category as it has become the second nation to send an observatory to study astronomical sources such as black holes, neutron stars, amongst others. Satish Naik from the Friends of Astronomy Club Goa tells us more about ISRO's PSLV C-58 XPOPSAT mission.
Hello listeners, you must be aware what ISRO has done on the New Year's Eve 2024, a big achievement and a lot of good things to come in the years to go. Our ISRO is going miles not only on Earth, up in space. On 1st of January from ISRO, we had a very good news when the XPOPSAT satellite was launched on the PSLV G58 rocket. 10 satellites were launched in the rocket, and one of them is the X-ray polarimeter satellite. Let's understand what it is and why it was sent into space. Let's shed a little light on something which you cannot see, black holes. Black holes are some of the most mysterious, interesting and enigmatic objects in the entire universe. When people are talking about astronomy, when they are inquisitive about astronomy, most of the questions are always about black holes. And ISRO is just going to unravel those answers and give us much more. What are black holes and where do they come from and where do they go? Now, what happens in the X-ray polarimeter satellite? It's a satellite which will be in low Earth orbit and it will be there for many years, and a lot of research on astronomy will be done, specifically on black holes. There are payloads in the satellite. Payloads are machines, instruments. And one of the most important payload in the XPOPSAT satellite is the X-ray polarimeter. The X-ray polarimeter is a very interesting satellite. It tries to see black holes, not in the sense I and you can see anything. It's in the sense of science. Every object in the universe gives out radiations. In science, we call them electromagnetic waves. And these waves are composed of different type of wavelengths like X-rays, microwaves, gamma rays, and much more. Some of the most energetic objects in the universe, the most dangerous and violent objects in the universe like black holes, these objects shed out a lot of X-rays. And this is exactly what the polarimeter satellite is intended to do by ISRO. Now, Many people, they have a question on when these things are discussed specifically about ISRO. They say there are so much things to do in India. Why should we, invest on a satellite which is going to study black holes? Has NASA already not done that? Of course, NASA has already done that. And India happens to be the second nation in the entire world which is now trying to do this. That is very interesting. The thing is, science has no boundaries. It's unlimited. It is the science of receding horizons. And the more we know about our universe, the better its applications are for our day-to-day life. They are called the spin-offs. There are so many things which are invented or which were made for space research, space-based applications, like even the CT scans in the hospitals which save lives today. But now those technologies are used in day-to-day life. And India has the largest population in the world. And when India does innovations and the applications are for the largest population in the world, we will be directly benefited by the results of such beautiful missions.
That was Satish Naik from the Friends of Astronomy Club about ISRO's PSLV C-58 XPOPSAT mission. Now, Joseph Noronha, President of the National Association of the Blind, or NAB Goa, is in conversation with Svetlana to give us a brief understanding about World Braille Day that was observed on the 4th of January.
Join us in this conversation as we reflect on the impact of Braille, the empowerment it brings to the visually impaired, and the ongoing journey towards a more inclusive world. We have with us the President of National Association of Blind, NAB Goa branch, Mr. Joseph Noronha. Welcome, Mr. Noronha.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Can you tell us about the significance of World Braille Day and why it is celebrated on January 4th?
January 4th happens to be the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, who was the one who innovated this Braille code, which has been a boon to all the visually impaired all over the world. So as a recognition to him, Braille Day is celebrated on 4th of January every year globally.
In your opinion, what are some of the biggest challenges faced by individuals who are blind or visually impaired when it comes to accessing Braille resources and technology?
Unfortunately, Braille resources are not available for all the visually impaired. We at National Association for the Blind are trying to fill in that gap and give that resource by teaching them not only Braille, but now with the availability of technology, we are also ensuring that the technology will empower them to cope up in today's world.
What initiatives has the NAB taken to promote the use of Braille, and what awareness has been raised about its importance?
I'm happy to share with you that on 12th of this month, NAB Goa along with Enable India have established a Parivartan Center, which is to take digital literacy to a new level for all those who are visually impaired. So we have been provided by 12 computers, which are the same. There's no difference between the computers that are there in the offices and the computers that are used by the visually impaired. What is difference is the software that we have been able to add on to those computers so that they can, despite their blindness, be able to access the technology that is available. Audio technology is the way forward for them, and that is the reason we have the children also being guided now to be prepared even to answer their papers using technology. Our philosophy is all about inclusivity, and that is precisely the reason we have all our children attending regular schools and colleges. So we prepare them with the curriculum that is there for the schools and colleges, and the objective that we have in mind is to make them independent and to ensure that they have gainful employment after they finish their schools and college.
Brilliant. Can you share some success stories or examples of how Braille has positively impacted the lives of individuals who are blind or visually impaired?
I am able to share with you a story which is so relevant because today we have Taha Haziq, who is the Secretary of the Commission for the Disabilities, Government of Goa. He is a product of National Association for the Blind. He has studied over there. He has graduated from there, and thereafter he used to work at Central Library in Goa. Then he completed his UPSC exam and has been selected by the government and is today working as the secretary.
Mr. Noronha, what employment opportunities would be available for a person once he finishes his education from the NAB?
I'm happy to share with you that today we have two of our computer teachers who are both visually impaired. They have learned computers at NAB Goa, advanced program through Enable India in Bangalore, and today they are teaching the other students. Besides being teachers, we have lots of other opportunities available to them because they can use technology to be effective in whatever role they have been entrusted. If it's a back office role, if it is a customer facing role, it is technology which would be a great enabler to give them gainful employment.
Mr. Noronha, you just mentioned that the two teachers at the NAB are visually impaired themselves. So what type of special training do these teachers have to undergo?
There is a curriculum which has been prescribed by Enable India, and they are the ones who train them with the basic module and also the advanced module, which empowers them to have the capability to teach the students. They cover up everything from Word, Excel, PowerPoint, the internet, WhatsApp. So there is a structured program which they go through.
Are there any specific advancements or innovations in Braille technology that you believe will have a significant impact on the blind community in the near future?
Today, we are moving towards digital literacy, and that is the campaign that we have driven at NAB Goa. Okay. All our students are being taught computers so that tomorrow they would not require a scribe even to write their exams. They would be able to independently use software, use the keyboard, and answer for themselves.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Noronha, and thank you once again for joining us. Wishing you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
That was Joseph Noronha, President of the Goa branch of the National Association of Blind, in conversation with Svetlana about World Braille Day that was observed on the 4th of January. Dear listeners, you may be aware that on the last Sunday in January, World Leprosy Day is celebrated. In India, it is celebrated on the 30th of January each year, which coincides with the death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The theme for World Leprosy Day 2024 is Ending Stigma, Embracing Dignity. This theme aims to eradicate the stigma associated with leprosy and promote the dignity of people affected by the disease. Alfred Silveira interacted with Dr. Anuja Naik, Medical Officer of the Leprosy Cell of the Directorate of Health Services.
The National Leprosy Eradication Program began in 1983, about 40 years ago. And ever since, the government is keen that we in India are made aware of everything and anything connected with leprosy. On the 30th of January every year, we commemorate Anti-Leprosy Day. And to talk to us about that, we are pleased to have with us in the studios of Akashvani, Dr. Anuja Naik. Dr. Naik, welcome to Akashvani.
Thank you.
And it must be a difficult task for you to deal with a disease which some people think is a curse. How do you manage that?
Yes, the name leprosy itself is a word which is associated with stigma. And to tell you the fact that the theme for the World Leprosy Day this year
Right.
is ending stigma, embracing dignity.
Very, very, very pertinent.
It is very, very
Yes.
relevant. Yes, relevant to the.
But education levels have increased. Why is this stigma still there?
Yes, because I would say that generally people think that once a person is affected with leprosy,
Right.
it looks as if that person has been cursed.
Exactly.
That person has been cursed for some bad deed he has done
Correct.
some years back. That is why a person with leprosy is not easily accepted by his own family members and the community also. Basically, in the olden days, whatever pictures we have seen, which used to be there in
Of
the
the
olden
patients.
days, yeah, those pictures are set up in our minds that person affected with leprosy will have a similar picture.
Correct.
But it's not like that. As I would say, in every disease, not only for leprosy, early diagnosis and prompt treatment
Correct.
is the
Okay.
proper management.
So let's get another thing out of the way. Is it a hereditary thing?
Not at all.
Ah.
Leprosy is not hereditary at
Okay.
all. It's a bacterial, means it's transmitted by a bacteria called as Mycobacterium leprae, which is transmitted from an infected person to another person.
What are the early indications that you could have been infected by this?
The main symptom in a leprosy affected person is a white patch.
Ah.
It can be a white patch, or we say most commonly it's a hypopigmented patch.
Okay.
Hypopigmented or a reddish patch
Right.
with definite loss of sensations.
Oh.
There are no sensations on the patch if it is because of leprosy.
Okay.
Secondly, there might not be a patch at all. There might be nodules.
Okay.
Nodules or even nerves can be affected.
I see.
Without appearance of patches, directly the nerves can be involved.
And how does it spread? I mean, where can one get infected?
Yeah, so when an infected person...
Is it airborne? What-
Yes,
yeah.
yes. The main route of transmission is by droplet infection.
Okay. See.
And I will say that all the people don't contact with the disease
Right.
if they have been exposed to an infected person.
Okay.
Only some around 4 to 5% develop the disease.
Okay.
It depends on the immunity of the person.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Now you are heading a cell in Goa. For how many years have you been doing this? This cell that
I have been in this department, that is National Leprosy Eradication Program,
Okay.
the name of the program.
Yes.
I have been in the program since October 2018.
Okay.
Yes, and since June 2023, I have been heading this program.
Okay. So from 2018 to June 2023, you must have seen a decline in cases.
Yes, definitely
yes.
there is a decline in cases, but that doesn't mean that
It's eradicated.
yes, it's not yet eradicated.
Okay.
We say that it has been eliminated.
I
But
see. Okay.
yes.
What's the difference?
leprosy has been eliminated. Elimination is the term given when the prevalence rate, that is the balance number of cases,
Uh-huh.
Goa is a low endemic state.
Okay.
The term low endemic, I mean that the prevalence rate of Goa is less than 1 per 10,000 population.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes, and
yes,
this
good.
low endemicity has been achieved by Goa in the year December 2006.
Okay.
So since then it has remained static, but that doesn't mean that we can sit and relax. We
Okay.
have to carry out our awareness activities and we have to carry out our surveillance activities, because the numbers which we are having are just the reported cases.
So how do you go about, finding out?
Yes. So throughout the year, we conduct special activities. By special activities, I mean special house-to-house surveys.
Oh,
Yes. So our health staff, they visit the people's houses. They see whether there are any signs or symptoms of leprosy. And if there is a suspected case, then the person is referred to GMC, where if leprosy is confirmed, then the further management is done.
yes.
Secondly, house-to-house surveys, those are the regular activities which are carried out.
Correct.
Thirdly, Sparsh Leprosy Awareness Campaign, SLAC.
Okay.
It starts from 30th January, that is our Anti-Leprosy Day, every year, till 13th of February. It's a fortnight campaign
Right.
in which many departments are involved, and all the departments carry out maximum awareness activities.
Okay. This is
To
at
spread the-
all India level, or we are
Yes,
talking
this is at all India
Oh,
level.
wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. The multi-drug therapy has started long back. So now what is the latest treatment protocol?
See, there are two types of leprosy cases.
Okay.
One is PB, that is possibacillary,
Okay.
And the other type is MB, which is multibacillary.
Okay.
So in possibacillary, since the bacterial load is a little low, treatment is of 6 months. The symptoms of the patient are a little less.
Right.
Whereas in multibacillary, the treatment is of 1 year. So in case of possibacillary, if the patient crosses 9 months, instead of 6 months, we can give him an extension phase up to 9 months.
Okay.
If he goes beyond 9 months, we say that patient is a defaulter.
Ah.
In case of multibacillary, if patient takes treatment within 18 months,
Okay.
means a grace period of
Another
6 months, then it is okay. But if he crosses 18 months, again he is called a defaulter. So in both these cases, patient has to be started on treatment again.
All over again.
All over again.
Okay.
We get relapse cases also.
Okay.
Relapse cases are those cases which develops again the signs and symptoms of leprosy anytime after the course of treatment.
Government treatment is free of cost?
Yes, government treatment is absolutely free of.
Well, doctor, you mentioned something about default, either 9 months or 18 months.
Yes.
And if they fall in the default category, they have to start the treatment again. Is there any way to ascertain whether the patient is finally cured?
When the patient is diagnosed as a case of leprosy, he has to finish his course of treatment,
6
which
months
can
or
be
12.
which can be 6 months or 12 months, depending on the type of leprosy.
Okay.
So at the end of the treatment, the patient is examined by the doctors again, and only if they advise that the patient has completed his treatment successfully and
Right.
there are no fresh signs and symptoms, then only we can say that patient is released from treatment. We don't use the term cured
Okay.
because relapses can occur in due course of time.
So do they have follow-up visits which are planned for them? And if so,
Yes,
how often?
patient has to follow up. Even after completion of treatment, patient has to follow up for 2 years.
Every 3 months?
Every 3 months, or even we can say 6 months.
Okay.
But patient has to follow up.
Okay.
Treatment is given at the peripheral health center, whichever is close to the residence of the patient.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it saves them that.
Yeah.
Trouble.
But whatever medicines they require are supplied by us, by our department.
Well, I think it's a challenge, and I salute you and your team for tackling such, what we say, a dreaded disease. But we shall definitely look forward to a brighter and a better future for those who have been diagnosed.
Yes.
And who, if there are those of you listening and you feel you may have leprosy, do not hide it. Help is at hand, cure is at hand. Make sure you contact your health officer.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Anuja Naik, Medical Officer of Leprosy Cell, Directorate of Health Services, Goa, talking to Alfred Silveira about Anti-Leprosy Day. Friends, the journey through the January edition of National Science magazine Radioscope draws its curtains here. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Till next time, it's goodbye and good night from all of us here. You just heard Radioscope, the National Science magazine. Script, Dr. Shubhrata Mishra. Narration, Elias Patel. Production, Damodar Athalekar. This was an Akashvani Panji production and came to you from the Delhi station of Akashvani.